Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is Jay from TNJ, and welcome to the Season 2 recruiting special here in the UCF Knights Dynasty. So far, the Knights have been impressive here in Season number 2. Definitely a big change from Season number 1. I'd say the big difference is that we did recruit scoring, and that's really shown itself with Reese Mahanic down low. He's averaging about 9 and 9. And then Mwangi going to work in the offseason. He's just a sophomore. He's averaging more points per game. Antonio Johnson, who just hit that 3, he's averaging less points per game, but it's because scoring's coming from more places now. Devon Bant is stepping up. And then there's also the freshman Justin Credible, who comes off the bench. He is a very good shooter, and it has really helped us. Now, I think one point of emphasis we can have this offseason is really going after defense and getting a solidified point guard. You know, I really like Jordan White right now. 12.3 points per game, averaging 3.9 assists though. I really want somebody that's a true distributor, a guy that can really set up the offense and run the offense and do all the things that point guards can do. It's not a slight on White. I just like a guy who is a traditional point guard and not just a guy who is kind of a run and gun type of player, guy that can really make the other teammates better. I think that what we have right now in place is very, very good, but now we go into the recruiting special, and we only have 2 goals. It's to sign a 2-star recruit and an A average potential rated recruit. So it looks like Rivera fits that right now. But now we hop into the actual recruiting. In the offseason, I kind of highlighted how I will go about recruiting. I will only go after guys that are in the highest or high interest in us. So I want to make sure that is clear. So whatever caliber they are, whether they're 5-star, 3-star, 1-star, those are the guys that we are going to go after. So let's get into the main guys here. First, we start with Ty Pearson, a 5'10" point guard, our highest ranked interested prospect on the board. He's ranked number 151 in the country, and he's one of the best point guards probably in the country as well, especially at distributing the basketball. Now, we went to a Florida Invitational for the best AAU players that are seniors in high school, and he was there in the state of Florida. All these highlights will be from this showcase, and he is a very, very good distributor of the basketball, a guy that I'm looking for. Now, my player comp for him is probably Chris Paul because he can get it done from mid-range. He's an excellent passer, and yes, I am using NBA 2K14 for the highlights, one of my favorite 2K games. Now we move on to probably the best scorer that we have on the board, Jermaine Plummer. He's averaging 4.2 rebounds, 3.5 steals. Now, I said I wanted to step up the defense. Now, Plummer really can do that. He can really play on ball. He can guard multiple positions as well. Being a forward, he can guard point guards. He's long enough. He's athletic enough. But his best asset is putting the ball in the hoop. Now, he's not the greatest of shooters from the outside, but he's got an array of moves to get the ball in the basket. I mean, you can just see right here, jump stop and then just hesitating a little bit, waiting for the defender to get off his feet. And you can just see the defense here going up and getting it off of the backboard. I mean, he is a complete basketball player. I'm not really too worried about his jump shot. He will either play the 3 or the 4, probably the 3. I think that jump shot will develop when we get him in the system, and we will see what he will turn into. But he could be one of those guys that's at A potential, because potential is a rating that is hidden from the game. I think it's behind the scenes, so hopefully he does turn into something. Then there's Nathan Haywood, a guy that only averaged about 10 points per game, but he is an excellent shooter. He shot about 30% from 3 in his senior year. Is shooting, I should say. Still, the season is still going on, but he's pretty good. I mean, I'm not mad at him, but is he enough? I think that's the thing. You know, he's a good shooter, but shooting isn't everything. I need a guy that can do everything, that can play defense, that can shoot the basketball, that can drive the lane. It's not that he's a bad player, but I just think that I want a little more out of him. And I'm not sure if he will be a true contender, but he does have good size at 6'4", which I really, really like. And maybe he can be that Klay Thompson and turn into that mold of coming in as first a great shooter, then turning into a great on-ball defender. Now, the next guy I really like is Garth Polk. And I said I wanted a guy who can do it all. He can do it all. Garth Polk is an excellent assist guy. He averages 8.3 assists per game in high school, and he is an excellent shooter, shooting over 46% from the three-point line. And he just has a feel for the game. You know, it's not that he will drive the basket and, you know, put up these fancy shots. He's just got a high IQ. He averages, like I said, almost 9 assists per game. The guy can knock down shots like no other, and I think that's one thing that I value. Now, if there is a downside to him, he's not the most athletic guy. He's going to be a guy that I compared to maybe like a Luke Ridnour, a guy that has a high IQ, you know, that has the experience, that can play point guard, that can play a little two as well, and I like him a lot. You know, he's going to be a guy that I can develop in the system. Next, we go on to a athletic on-ball defender in Napoleon Herrera. He's ranked number 715 out of Linden, Alabama. Now, one thing that I do not like about him is that he cannot shoot at all. I mean, that is just out of the question. His potential as far as shooting isn't that good, but he's a guy that literally, like I just said, he can be an all-around guy, an on-ball defender who plays excellent D. He can be a guy that can rebound for us. And I think that playing on his high school team, he's kind of lost a little shine because he plays with some guys that are probably higher ranked than he is. So it hasn't really, you know, he hasn't really hit the spotlight, doesn't average a ton of points in high school or anything like that. But he's a guy that really has a pretty good ceiling. Next is Jared Parnell, number 761 in the country. Now, he can shoot just like the other guys. And you know what? I like him a lot, but he is only 6'1". That does concern me because he will have to play more point guard than two guard, because I do want a guy that can play both guards. But Parnell is pretty good. I think if we do not end up giving him a scholarship, he will end up being an excellent college basketball player. He can get to the hoop. He can drive the lane. He can do pretty much everything. And I think that his size is just the only thing that really bothers me. Now we look at the full board here, and I want to just take a look at every prospect a little closer. Let's start with Ty Pearson, who is our top guy. 9.7 points per game, 21% from three. So meaning he can develop that jump shot if he really did need to, averaging 9 and 8.5 assists. I mean, the guy is all around a great player. Yes, his height is a bit concerning, but because he's such a good passer, I will let that slide. I mean, 5'10" isn't ideal, but he can develop that jump shot as well. I really like his potential. He has an 87 sprint. I believe that's like a 60-yard sprint. And I really do like that he is a guy that has the speed, so he can use that 20-meter sprint. What am I saying? 60-yard, 20-meter sprint. Now, Jermaine Plummer is the best scorer. You can see right here, averaging 20 points per game, 4.2 rebounds, 3 steals, 3.5 steals. And that three-point percentage will go up. It's at 9.3 right now. I bet that will be a lot higher when we get him on the actual squad. But he is impressive. Now, I only have 2 scholarships to give out, so we really have to make that decision on who we want to give these out to, because it's going to be tough. And plus, we don't want to give away all of our scholarships necessarily. If we fall in love with 2 guys, we definitely want to go after them. But the only thing is, you don't have any scholarships going into the offseason recruiting. So we might want to get one guy and then carry the others into the offseason. Now, looking at Lucas Rivera, he is a all-conference player. Now, on the last screen, if you saw earlier, he was the guy that they said he is an A potential. So he's definitely a guy I want to keep my eyes on. I'm not truly impressed with him, but he does everything. 3.9 blocks per game, 10.7 points per game. He is a big man at 6'9". Only 2.3 rebounds per game. That's a little concerning, but he does everything on the court for his basketball team, his high school team. Next is Grant Robertson. Now, we are number 2 on his list. And like I said, we only have 2 scholarships, and I'm just looking at a guy that I really need to be blown away by, and he doesn't do it for me. He only averages 0.3 blocks, And since I know that Rivera is an A potential, it kind of ruins the recruiting for Grant Robertson. Even though we're second on his list, I think that he's a guy we might have to pass on. Next is Derek Erickson. Now, he needs to be better than Ty Pearson in order for us to go after him, because getting a point guard here is a necessity for us. He's averaging just as good as stats as Pearson was. 9.2, 3.4 rebounds per game, 8.4 assists per game, and shooting 13%. Now, he's not as fast, though. 20-meter sprint is only 76. Agility cone is only 79. Pearson is a bit more athletic, so we will have to kind of, probably go after Pearson in that scenario. Now, Nathan Haywood, the shooter, now we are only fifth on his list, averaging 9.7 points per game in high school, 2 rebounds, 1.1 steal, 1.7 assists, 30% from three-point land, and I just don't know. I mean, this is tough. Only having 2 scholarships going to this year is the most tough thing that you can have, because a lot of good players here. We have to make some decisions. We just recruited Justin Incredible last season. He was a shooter. Do we need another one? We've been doing a pretty good job of stretching the floor, spacing the floor this season. So maybe we might have to look at more of a versatile wing like Napoleon Herrera. 11 points per game, 4.2 rebounds per game, can play some defense, isn't great with passing the basketball, but his defense is very, very good. In late game situations when we need a stop, we could put him on the floor. You never know. Now, the one reason why I am interested in him is because he wants to come here. We are his number 1 school. A lot of guys do not have us as the number 1 school, but Napoleon Herrera does, so we'll have to keep an eye on him. I'm not really sure what we want to do there. Next is the shooter Garth Polk. I highlighted that he wasn't as athletic, but he can shoot the lights out. 46% from 3, averaging 10 points a game in high school, 3.9 rebounds, 8.3 assists. He is a distributor. He can shoot. What can't he do? And he has size. I think that this is a guy I want to go after, but is this a guy that I absolutely need? With 2 scholarships, you have to make the right decision here. But Garth Polk is excellent. He's got good size too at 6'4", and the fact that he can distribute, he can be a 6'4" point guard. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with these guards. Jared Parnell is next, 6'1" shooting guard. I don't like the size at all. I like Ty Pearson's size because at 5'10", I didn't like it, I guess, but I'm not too bothered by it because he's going to be a true point guard. But with Parnell, he's going to have to play off ball as well. 7.5 points per game, 32% from 3. He's pretty athletic. He's not bad, not great though, but he's a guy that can possibly develop into, a point guard. I don't know what his dribbling ability is going to be like. So we might have to scout him a little more to just figure that out. But right now, he's kind of last on the list. So we will have to likely move other places to find the guy we're really looking for. So I decided to go back up to Ty Pearson, and he will get one of the 2 scholarships. So I want to make that decision right now. At 5'10", he's undersized, but I like his potential as well. I believe he will be one of those A potential guys. He is the highest ranked guy on our board, so meaning he will come in with the higher overall than the alternatives. Now, I think the second scholarship, I'm not exactly sure yet. I like Garth Polk, but we are not in his top 6 schools, so I don't know how that's going to work. So then I decide to go and watch Lucas Rivera's game. He was rated as an A potential guy for a reason, so I want to figure out why. And then I wanted to go look at Jermaine Plummer some more. I want to see what he's got on film, go look at his game live, and see if he is the real deal. I think it could come down to those 3 guys as our final 3 to get that final scholarship, but I'm not sure. I think we need to figure out more information. Now, I want to highlight School Pride. Now, this pretty much dictates how they train in the offseason. So if you upgrade weight room, they will all train in the offseason a little better. And that actually affects their ratings right away. So I'm going to upgrade all the facilities to level 1. I think if you go to like level 3 and 4, it's kind of like a cheat code. Your guys progress way faster than other teams, so I don't want that to happen. I want there to be kind of an even distribution of ratings. So we will see how that kind of goes with progressing. I think maybe if we get to a Power 5 conference, we will up the level. I'm not really sure. I want to make sure that, you know, I'm playing fair, because last Dynasty I had LBSU, our guys were training at rates that other teams couldn't compete with, and we just ended up being way better than everybody else. So that's going to do it here in the recruiting special. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We are 7-2. Now, next episode, we will complete the regular season, and we will get, not regular season, we will complete non-conference play, and then we will hop into conference play. I think conference play might be 1 or 2 episodes. I want to get through that quickly. I want to get to the conference tournament. That is my favorite tournament. It's excellent. It's exhilarating. Everything about it. I love the tournament plays in this game. So that's going to do it here. Hit subscribe, hit that like button. Let me know what you think of the recruits and who you think maybe should get that second scholarship, or should we ride that out into the off season. So stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.